So let's see here. So the first thing that we're going to do, I'm now taping it because you finally missed one. The first thing that we're going to do is practice. I'm doing this for myself too, so when I go back and edit this video, I know what we're going to do. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to work on writing word equations, writing expressions. Whenever you write an equation and you see a less than in it, make sure you write it backwards. Okay. So here's the next one. Okay, so I want you to solve this equation for me. Do you know how to erase the board?
Clear?
Yeah. Let me know when you're ready, because I can't see the screen.
Hang on. What do you... no, that's somebody else's. Wait.
Okay, you see the piece of paper with the X on it? It's right next to the triangle that's laying on its side. It's like the 6 button over. If you click that and then click OK, then it'll clear the board.
There we go. And then I need to get back to my blank page. No.
It's the big X. There you go. There you go. Yeah. All right. So here's the question. 3W minus 10 equals 4W plus 5.
Okay. So you need to get the W's on one side and the others. So I would do 3W equals 4W plus 5 plus 10, which is 3W equals 4W plus 15. And then you have to bring this over, so it would be divide.
Not yet.
Oh, wait, I gotta break this off. So
get all the W's on one side. How do you move that 4W?
I gotta... Do I divide it by the W or divide it by the 4? I gotta get the 4 off of it.
Let me show you this graphically. Okay. So I'm gonna grab this 4. Oops. I'm gonna grab this 4W. Right? You see me moving it?
No.
Did you see me move it now?
Okay. Yeah.
Whenever something goes from one side of the equal sign to the other side of the equal sign, the only thing that happens to it is it changes sign. So do you see how I grab that whole term?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm just going to put a minus sign next to it, because I'm subtracting it from both sides.
Okay.
So now, because this W and that W are the exact same kind of W, I just combine them together using the front numbers. So what is 4 minus 3? Or sorry, 3 minus 4?
1. Or negative 1.
So this would make this negative W equals 15. Okay?
Okay.
Whenever you have a negative sign on your letter,
the number's a negative.
That number just, yeah, the negative just moves to the other number. So I can literally grab this negative sign, if it lets me, and move it over to the other number, and now I have my answer.
Okay.
So that's called combining like terms. And we'll work on that too. So this is kind of like another star.
Sorry.
Why are you sorry?
Because I should have known how to do that, but I trip up myself with it, whether I have to divide or multiply or add or subtract. I'm not looking closely.
You haven't done algebra in how long?
I know.
I mean, think about how far we've come so far, right?
Right.
This is something that we knew we were going to have to work on. And once you learn algebra, you can test into college algebra, so you can save yourself like 2 or 3 classes, which is the whole point, right? I'm not expecting you to know how to do this, so don't get down on yourself.
It's okay. All right.
All right. Don't make me reach across this computer and slap you. Come on, shake yourself out of it. All right.
Got it.
Clear it. Clear it for me, and I'll read you the next question. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
Okay, so I hope that I'm not making you. I'm just going to read it. Okay, so the equation is 6 minus 2t is greater than the actual greater than symbol 18.
So wouldn't I subtract the 6 and bring it over
Yes.
here? So negative 2t is greater than 12, which means t is negative 6. But do I have to do you want me to
I
bring
want
that
you to
over?
finish it out. So there's something that you have to do, and I want to see if you know how to do it or not. Why'd you stop?
Because, okay, so.
Okay, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Write the letter T. Write the letter T. Give me a space, and then write the number negative 6, because you had those two numbers right.
Hang on. Sorry.
I don't want you to put any symbol in between the two, because I'm going to show you something.
Okay. Well, okay. So write the number T, put a space, and write negative 6.
Because you did your math absolutely perfect. Here's the thing. This symbol, whenever you divide by a negative number, flips.
Okay.
And that's the answer. So how would you actually read that, or what does that actually mean?
T is less than negative 6.
Right. So if I'm going to put it on a number line, I'm going to do this. So here is negative 6. And I need a number less than negative 6. Because there is no equal sign underneath this less than symbol, you get an open circle. And it's all of those numbers to that side. Right. That's how you actually graph it. Because they're going to ask you to do that. You have to know how to do that.
Okay.
If there's a bar underneath here, then this circle gets filled in.
Or equal to.
Or equal to. Right. Do we need to do questions like that? Yeah, I think so, because you didn't know to flip the symbol. So I want to practice that too. This is all really little stuff. It's not even that bad. It's stuff that we could probably all these things we could probably do in one day the next time we meet.
Right.
There's nothing that complicated. It's just remembering all the little rules.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Clear that for me. I wonder if I can copy and paste this. Okay, so I'm going to try to type something for you.
Okay.
This is a word question. John can jog. What can John jog? 4 miles in 56 minutes. And at what pace? At the same pace, how far can he jog in 84 minutes?
In how many minutes?
84 minutes. So at the same pace, how far can he jog in 84? Okay.
So
And that should be 4 miles, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a part of me that's thinking to divide 4 by 56. So it's 14, and I have to like add those up to the 84 minutes or multiply it with the difference.
Okay, what I want you to do is write me a ratio to do the question, because that's actually what the question is asking. And on your practice test, they might not even ask you for an answer. They'll ask you to set up the question. That's more likely what they're going to do.
Honestly, I don't know how to write it out as one equation. Instead, I would be like, it would be like x equals 84 miles, or you're trying to find the answer to x for the 84.
This is what I'm going to do, okay? Those are the letters of my ratio. Do you know what D stands for?
Not on this.
Distance.
Okay.
Do you know what T stands for?
Time.
So when I'm looking at this word question, that represents my distance, right?
Right.
And that represents my time.
Right.
And so I'm going to make a ratio doing those two things. So I'm going to say that 4 over 56 is my first ratio. Then I'm going to go over to my question to figure out what my second ratio is going to be. When they say the words how far,
that's x.
That's x. And that's my distance, right?
Right.
And then this 84 represents what?
Time.
So that's the algebraic equation to do the question.
Okay.
Now, if I actually want to solve for the question, let's see. If I don't have a calculator, let's say I don't have a calculator, then I'm going to start reducing the fractions. And this is something that we actually worked on. This number and that number are in the same location of the fraction, right?
Right.
What is the biggest number that divides evenly into both of those?
I have no idea.
Divide this one by 4.
16.
Divide this one by 4.
21.
Okay? Now I'm going to cross multiply. Look at that.
84.
So that would be my answer.
Okay.
Actually, this is 14, isn't it? Isn't that 14? What's 4 times 4? 4 times 4 is 16.
It's 14. Right? It's 14.
Oh, so there's another number I can take out of this. If that one's 14 and that one's 21, what number do they still have in common? I knew it got smaller than that.
7.
So this changes to a what?
A 2.
And this changes to a what?
3.
And then I can cross cancel those two numbers, right? How many times is 2 going to 4?
2.
So that changes to 2. And so I have 2 is equal to x over 3. Oh, look how easy that is. So what is x?
6.
So I don't need a calculator to do that if I reduce right.
Yeah, we'll have to do one of those again.
Okay. I got tons of those types of questions that we can work on. All right. Next question. Okay. So I'm just going to write it up for you, and then I want you to try to do it.
Okay.
I think that's what it was. Yep. There is an easy way to do this and a hard way to do this. And I don't know if I've ever taught you this, so don't feel bad if you can't do it.
Am I trying to get those two as a common denominator?
Yes, all three of them as a common denominator, honestly.
It's 12.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be, let me get down here. So then you have to bring it up at the top as well, right?
Right.
So it would be 4x over 12 plus 3x over 12 equals 14 over 12.
Mm-hmm.
Then is this then, 7x over 12 equals, should I keep it as 14 over 12?
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if I need to break 14 over 12 down first or if I need to get, I don't know what to do next.
Okay. I'm going to save you from yourself because I want to make this easier for you.
Okay.
What do you notice about those two numbers where they are in the fraction?
I'm sorry?
Where do you notice that the 12s are in the fractions on both
They're
sides?
the denominators.
So what can you do to a number if it's in the same spot on opposite sides of the equal sign?
Get rid of them?
Because we learned that rule already doing fractions, right?
Okay.
So this just becomes 7x is equal to 14. So what's x equal to?
2.
So you know the math. You got stuck at this part. So let's just eliminate this part so you don't get stuck.
Okay.
So I'm going to rewrite the question up and show you another way of looking at the exact same thing. So you have x over 3 plus x over 4 plus 7x over 6. 6. You know that your common denominator is 12, right? So I'm going to take 12 and multiply it to each one of these things. This is exactly the same math that you just did. You got 4x plus 3x equals 14. Notice that the 12 now is not there because I'm not worried about the common denominator. I'm using the common denominator to multiply everything by.
But I don't know how you would, like, I don't see how that makes sense.
Let's do each one of these separately. Okay?
Okay.
What is 3 divided by 12?
Because you said multiply.
Right. What is
So
3
4
divided by 12, and then we multiply the top, times x? What's 4 times x?
4x.
That's where that one came from. Now I'm going to do the next one. What is 4 divided by 12?
3
Times x.
x.
See how I got that one now?
Okay. So I didn't know that step. So where you multiply and then, I mean, I know we talked about that, but it's not in my brain to think that way. So I just want to make sure you knew why you did that.
That's why I taught you that stuff when we were dealing with fractions, because I knew that we would use it over again to make the math easier.
Okay.
Because now I don't have to worry about the common denominator anymore.
Right.
Because it disappears. And that's an easy way of eliminating fractions so we don't ever have to worry about fractions when we're doing algebra. Because now
that's a lot easier.
Because now the fractions are gone, right? So I have my 7x is equal to 14, and so x is equal to 2.
Right.
Because I don't have a fraction anymore. The trick is you have to multiply it by everything that's written in the equation, because a lot of folks forget to multiply it by the last number.
Okay.
So we'll practice some of those too. See, that's another thing. We practiced it 3 or 4 times, you'll get it. Because you already
right.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
No, I said that's fine.
All right. Okay, the next question. Find the slope of the point of the line containing these 2 points. Let me just do some math speak first. If I write a point, that's called an ordered pair. And you can graph it for me. Go ahead. Oh, okay. Well, let's go over graphing points then. So
Is the vertical X and the horizontal Y? Did I do that backwards?
You did too many points. So the first thing is the X, and then the second part is the Y. And so you put those two.
So in the line, so this is X and that is Y.
This is X and that's Y. I think you did that right.
But, I did, yeah.
But you only get 1 point. So your point should be there. That's where your point goes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
So I have to give you 2 points in order to make a line, right? So the
other point, I'm sorry. Okay.
The other point was 2, 4. Can you plot that point for me?
Okay. Yeah. So then it's
on the same thing on the same one.
Right. So then 2 and 4.
And now you connect those 2 dots, right?
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you find the slope for me of that line? Do you know how to do that?
No, but I know it's more of a loop-de-loop now. I don't remember what it is though.
You just said loop-de-loop. I love it.
I did.
Okay, I'm going to teach you a technique called stack and subtract, so you don't have to memorize a formula. Okay?
Okay.
So the only thing you have to remember is that when you're doing slope, the y's are always up top and the x's are always on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this first point and I'm going to stack the y on top of the x. Do you understand what I just did there?
Yes.
I'm going to take my second point and I'm going to stack the y on top of the x. And then I'm going to subtract the 2 numbers from one another. That's slope.
So -1 and -3.
Which is equal to?
-3.
1/3.
1/3.
Because what happens to the 2 minuses?
They become a positive.
They become a positive. So I'm going to give you another little piece. So that's called stack and subtract, and that's how you can always get slope. You always put the y on top of the x for each one of the points, and then you just subtract them.
Okay.
I'm going to draw the line man for you too, because this is just in general. So here are his eyes, here's his nose, and here's his mouth. Each one of those things represents a slope. I'm going to draw in his tongue, and I'm going to put an X on his nose because his nose is broken. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
If the line is pointed this direction, then it has a negative slope. That's why it's got a negative symbol here for one of his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
If the line is pointed that direction, then it has a positive slope. That's why he's got a plus symbol there. If the line is straight up and down, then the line is x equals something. And the slope is undefined. That's why there's a U for his nose.
Clever.
If the line is straight across, like where his mouth is, then the slope is equal to 0. That's why he has a little corners of his mouth with the 0 there.
Okay.
And that is y is equal to something for his tongue. So let's
But you mean when it's a y slope, you're saying it's 0?
I'm saying the slope is equal to 0 and the equation for the line is y equals some number.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you how to use it. I'm going to just do this a couple of times so you can actually see it.
Got it.
So there's my grid. I'm going to put a couple of things in here. And then I'm just going to draw a couple of lines. So that's my first line. What kind of slope does it have?
It's a positive slope.
It has a positive slope. I'm going to draw another line in a different color. And I'm going to just slide it over. What kind of line is that?
That is an undefined slope.
It's an undefined slope, and the equation for the line is x
Equal to x.
x equals 3. Because if you count from the x-axis down here, what line is that going across?
3.
3. That's what I mean about the equation for the line.
Okay.
Okay, let me do another one in a different color. What is the slope of that line?
I guess you said it's equal to 0, but it's a y slope.
So, and the slope of the line is equal to 0, but the equation for the line is y equals whatever it crosses.
-3.
-3. Do you see the difference between the equation and the slope?
Yes. I still don't understand the 0 part. That's the only thing that's getting me tripped up.
Okay. Okay. This might help you. Okay, so I'm going to write the equation for a line. So y is equal to mx plus b.
Mm-hmm.
This number right here is the slope. And this number right there is the y-intercept. So that's where it crosses the y-axis. That's what intercept means.
Right.
So we said that for the red line, the slope was 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to write y equals 0 times x. And then
I see. I remember. Okay, because you're just going straight down. There's no intercept.
Well, for the red line, there is an intercept. This is the y-axis, right? Where does the red line cross the y-axis?
-3.
So because there is no slope, right? The slope is 0. Then the equation that you get is y equals -3. That's how we got the equation.
Got it. Okay.
Now I'm going to do the blue line. Okay? So the slope is undefined, right? For
Which one?
For the blue line, I'm sorry.
For x?
For x, for this one. You don't have a slope there, right?
No.
There's no number that you can put in for m, right?
Right.
And there's no number that you can put in for b, right? Because it doesn't cross the y-axis at all, right?
Got it.
So because of that, that's the kind of the tricky one. You just have to know that wherever it crosses the x-axis, that's the actual formula for it.
Okay.
Now if I want to do this line, I can use the y-axis to write out what my b is. So what would my b be?
3.
So my b is 3, so I'm going to write 3 there. And now I got to figure out my slope. So my slope is the y part over the x part. This is the y part. So I'm going to count the direction of the arrows. Okay?
Right.
So if I'm going to write my x here because that letter doesn't matter or doesn't change. But what is it telling me to do when I'm going to this point right here? How many times do I have to count down? So that's going to be -3. And then how many times do I have to count over to?
+3.
Well, what direction am I counting?
-3.
What's -3 over -3?
1.
So the equation for this line would be x plus 3. That's the equation for that line. Are you okay with that?
Yes, I would not. If they gave me y equals x plus 3 and said find the slope or put it on the graph, I probably wouldn't know how to.
Okay.
But realistically, you wouldn't be going backwards in that sense, would you?
They're going to go backwards, forwards, sideways. There's a whole bunch of different ways to ask a line a question. There's like 7 different ways to ask a question for a line.
Right.
We'll go over all of them.
Okay.
We're going to go over all of them. That is mostly what you do in Algebra 1. Like a lot of it is just linear algebra. It's like learning how a line works. So we'll probably spend one whole session just doing lines, like for an hour. Because I can give you an equation for a line and ask you to graph it. I could actually draw a picture of a line and ask you to write the equation. I could give you 2 points and say, give me the equation for the line. I could give you a point and a slope and say, give me the equation for the line. So there's a lot that I could do. I could say, write the equation for the parallel line, write the equation for the perpendicular line going through this point. So there's a bunch of different stuff that you can do for lines. Right. Algebra 1 is basically line stuff and factoring. That's almost all of it.
Got it.
All right. So again, that's something else. This is kind of just giving you an overview of the stuff that we're going to be covering now next. So, for example, the next question says find the y-intercept, and I'm going to write the equation for the line. So I'm going to erase this. It says y minus 2x plus 1 equals 0. And the question is to write the equation for the line. So whenever you see something the whole thing to do is to isolate the y. So you want to get y by itself.
Okay.
So move everything over to the other side of the equal sign. That was weird. Watch your sign. What sign is, there you go. Now I want you to write it in this form, y equals mx plus b. I want you to rewrite it so the equation is ordered in that way.
But it won't be plus, or do I say plus and then do I do?
No, you just write -1 because that's what you do in algebra. You don't ever write plus minus.
Right. Okay. Whatever. All right.
Right. Okay.
There you go.
I want you to tell me what m is equal to.
2x. So then
it's just equal to just the number. It's not equal to the x. So what is m equal to? Okay, tell me what b is equal to.
-1.
So write it there. What does b tell you about the line?
It's a negative slope.
No, okay. So just to reiterate, this one is slope,
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the interface.
and
Or
this is the y
whatever.
intercept.
Intercept.
Okay, so let me show you how we can use these as directions to draw the line. So I'm going to start off at -1. So there's my dot. And I'm going to just put in some tick marks here. And some tick marks there. And now I'm going to use this number to direct how I'm going to draw the line. So I can write 2 as a fraction. That's the same thing as writing 2, right?
Okay.
So this is telling me how far up to go, and this is telling me how far right to go each time. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to make a different colored dot. So I'm going to go up 2 over 1. That's my dot. From there, I'm going to go up 2 over 1. From there, I'm going to go up 2 over 1. And then that then gives me my line. So your slope is your directions, and your y is your starting point. So this is your starting point, and this is how you move.
Okay.
That's how those two numbers are different from one another.
Got it.
All right. I have another question for you. Is Saturday literally a better day for you instead of trying to do it during the week?
Yeah, because I don't work on Saturdays.
Okay. Can we?
But if it's too much for you, then we can keep it to Wednesdays. It's just it all depends.
No.
My weeks are just been crazy lately.
I would rather have you when I have your full attention instead of having to keep on moving it off of Wednesday because I end up seeing you on Saturday anyway. So
yeah.
Can we just keep it at 12 o'clock on Saturday? Does that work for you?
That would be perfect.
Are you going anywhere or traveling anytime in the next month? When is your test, by the way? How much time do we have?
Whenever I decide to take it. So it could be I could take it for fall semester, or I could keep going until I take it for January. I mean, they even start classes in October if I really need to. It just depends on what's available.
When is the earliest that you can take it, just so I know kind of how much time we have? When's the earliest?
The earliest I could take it is probably late August.
So we have 4 to 6 more weeks basically together?
Yes, and then I will be out of town on August 5th or that Saturday, August 6th.
Okay.
And that's the only Saturday, but I could get together during the week that week before I leave.
That's completely up to you. And we could actually do a night session if you have to because of the time change.
Yeah, of course. Because and that's the thing. I didn't want to bother you because I know you've got the baby and everything else. But Thursday before we travel, because we don't leave until Friday morning. If you want to do that Thursday evening, that would be fine.
I guess I should throw this out to you so you're not thinking that you're bothering me. My kids are in bed by 8:30.
Okay.
which is 5:30 your time, which is basically when you're getting off of work.
Right.
So if you ever want to work after work, it's not a big deal to me unless it's on a Friday night because I don't want to work on Friday.
Right.
Friday and Sunday nights are the only nights that I don't really want to work at night. Any other night is fine, including Saturday. Of course, Saturday mornings is much better for me too because then I get to start my day.
Right.
You don't have to think about it now. We can just keep it where it is, but probably
right. The only reason I avoid evenings with you, which I'm okay with doing, it's just it's never a guarantee of what time I get out, and I don't want to have you doing a session with me at 10 o'clock at night. Okay. So I just for you know what I mean. I would much rather work with my mornings since I don't go in until 9:30, or Saturdays are completely okay.
Okay. Well, we'll just keep it on Saturday until that week that you travel.
Okay.
When the school year starts for me,
Uh-huh.
you're not the only one that I have on the West Coast.
Okay.
So I work until 12 o'clock midnight when
Okay.
school starts because I can see my clients that are in different time zones later on at night. And I don't start working until 2:30, 3 o'clock because kids are in school. So that's literally my work day. So don't feel bad if we have to do it at 10 o'clock at night. That doesn't bother me at all, especially because the kids are asleep too.
Right. Okay.
Just FYI.
Gotcha.
So as we look through these questions, the next like 5 or 6, are there any of those that you already know how to do?
Let me look. Let's see. Which ones have we not looked at? Because I haven't been looking at the.
It's number 10 is the next one that we're on. We're on number 10.
Solve the system, right? The x minus or x plus 3y. Solve the system? Is that?
If you don't know how to do it, it's fine. I just want to know if there's anything that you do know how to do before we move on.
The scientific notation, is that the 53 times 10 to the 6th power?
Move the decimal one more place because there's only supposed to be one digit in front of the decimal. So it's
5.3 times 10 to the 6th power?
7, because you moved it one.
Multiply, is that foiling?
That's foiling. Do you know how to do that?
Okay. First, outer, inner, last.
Yeah.
So it'd be 2x and all that. Okay.
It would be x squared. X
squared minus 35.
Okay, we might have to practice that. That's okay.
Times 5x or plus 5x. I don't know. Whatever. I always remember the FOIL, but like.
We'll practice it. It's fine. Yeah. We'll practice it.
Combine and simplify. So I've got to kind of get rid of those x's. So it would be, I can get rid of the x squared together. Is that right? Or
yes,
do you want to do the
combine the x squared terms together and then combine the x's together. Yes. Make sure that you would multiply the negative sign through, because that's how you're going to end up getting the wrong answer, because most people forget.
If I combine and simplify that one, do I have to do the parentheses first, though?
Yes. You got to carry the negative sign through the parentheses first.
So
why don't you just write up that question? I want to see if you can do it. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't think I can.
Okay, never mind.
Hang on. Where's my... So what is it? 3x?
3x squared minus 2x minus, in parentheses, x squared minus 5x, close parentheses.
If you're saying start with the parentheses? Or no?
I'm saying to multiply that negative sign through first and get rid of the parentheses.
Okay, so
right.
And then I would say like just get rid of these two, but is that right?
They don't cancel. They don't. No.
I didn't think so.
Okay, so let's just go back. What you're going to do is you're going to combine those two together by using the numbers in front.
So, right?
What number is in front of that negative x squared? What number is in front of it?
A 1.
So what's 3 minus 1?
Oh, I'm sorry. 3 minus 1. Okay. Okay.
Okay? And then the next thing we're going to do is combine those two together.
Wait.
Make sure you
No.
put the X. Make sure you put the X. And that's all you do. Nope, there's no square there. Whatever this letter is to begin with, it stays exactly the same.
Okay.
So that's your answer. That's where you stop.
That's it.
That's it. That's all you do.
Okay. Got it.
All right. I will see you a little after 12 next Saturday.
Sounds good.
If something comes up, just let me know. I'll still text you Friday night to make sure that we're still on.
Okay. Oh, July